Hello, I'm Jim LaJoy. I'm the designer of the all-season solar cooker. Today we're going to look at various cookware that works for, well, all solar cooking devices, but these are the ones that I use. My very first cookware came from an outdoor store. It was this nice little stack of anodized cookware from, I believe it was REI. It's made by GSI. What I liked about these was that they're pretty strong. I've had these for over 20 years. And I liked that they stacked. And most of all, what I liked about them, and back at the time, this is one of my criteria, is will they fit inside the glass bowl that I was using at that time. I turned down a lot of cookware because it had handles or it was too big around to fit inside of these, but these were ideal. Using that criteria, I moved on and I found this pot, which is part of a 3-pot set. It's anodized aluminum. It came in this color gray, and which was pretty good just like that for darkness, but then I wound up painting it black, and again it fit inside my glass bowl, and that was the criteria that I had. I didn't want to buy anything that would not fit inside my cooking enclosure. My next pot is one that's very commonly seen in the solar cooking world, and this is a graniteware 3-pound roaster. It comes without handles, and the reason you wanted the ones without handles again was because it fits very nicely into my glass cookware enclosure. So that was my challenge in the early years, was always to find pots that worked, and all 3 of these worked very well. In addition to them fitting inside my cookware, they also met the criteria of being thin and dark or black. All right, and thin is and black is what you want in all your solar cooking cookware. I graduated later to larger pots for making larger things like turkeys, and you will not find, or I couldn't find, any glassware that would hold a pot of this size. They're just too big to fit in there. So I switched over to using the cooking bag that is widely used in Africa, and it's distributed with several types of solar cookers. This bag is a nylon cooking bag. It's made for cooking turkeys. I use these and they work just as well as the glass bowls do. I want to note that these are reusable. This particular bag, as you can see, is a little bit wrinkled, but I have been using this one for months for my solar cooking. And the trick with these is that you put the food inside the pot goes inside the bag, everything cooks, and then when you take it back out of the bag, you wipe off the bag outside, you turn it inside out, wipe it out again, because there's going to be moisture in there, and then you store it until next use, and it will always stay this nice and supple. I got this at Walmart. They come in several different sizes. They're called calderos. Even novice solar cooks that I've worked with have had really great success with this. And then the final pot that I purchased is this very big, again, it's made by Graniteware. I think this is the largest stew pot that they make. This thing is heavy duty. This is on par with any of the high-end porcelain pots that you would find in the very best cookware stores. I can put a whole chicken in there, and I can put some potatoes around that chicken and some carrots. I can fill this pot completely, and it makes a wonderful one-pot meal. That's the cookware that I use. The universal things about it is that they're thin, they're dark, darker the better, and because of that, they all work well. Now, sometimes I'll come up with a pot for, again, this Osuna pot, and the bottom was chrome, or it was shiny. Or I'll come upon a pot at a thrift store that I really, really like, And I think that would be perfect for solar cooking, but it's chrome. So if you find something like that, I get this inexpensive spray paint. This is called Color Place. It's a flat black. I find it at Walmart. And the key to this paint is A, it's inexpensive. And then it says right here in the top of the directions, it said, this spray enamel is non-toxic when dry. All right, you can buy a lot of different black spray paints. Some of them are high heat for engines. Some of them have different uses, but this is just like the least expensive spray paint I could find, and it's non-toxic when dry. So if I have a silver colored surface that I want darker, or in this case, this was lighter gray, this pan was, and I painted it. What I do is I use my spray paint, and then I let it dry, and then I'll put the pot into the solar cooker all day long, and that lets that paint cure. I might do a second day of it all day long, and then I wash it with soap and water, and then after that there's no odor at all from the paint. So then the final one I want to show you, this is the simplest one. This is a standard canning jar. It's amber colored. Ball makes them. Yeah, this is a Ball jar, and these are excellent just by themselves. You can put a cup of rice in there or 2 cups of water. If you're using glass bowls, you can put them in there. If you're using the bags, you can put them in there. And these cook really, really well. I have a couple of 2-quart amber jars that I use on a regular basis. I really like cooking in the glassware. It's easy to clean. So one of the questions that's frequently asked is, why does the pot have to be black? Well, it's physics. A white pot reflects all the light that hits it. A silver chrome pot reflects away all the light that hits it. But a black pot doesn't reflect any light. And light has energy. So what happens to that energy that goes into the pot? Well, the pot doesn't get brighter. What happens is that energy goes into the pot, hits the molecules of the material, excites the molecules rub together, and that friction causes the pot to heat up. So you have the light coming in, it's absorbed by the dark pot, the pot gets hot, and the heat from the pot goes into the food. Pretty simple process. If you ignore this and don't use a dark pot, your solar cooking is going to fail. Simple as that. One more point before we go. Solar cooking is like every other type of cooking. And whether you're using an oven at home, or whether you're using a barbecue, whether you're using a turkey fryer, whatever you're using to cook your food, if that food was raw, like turkey or chicken or beef or pork, when you started cooking it, so it was unsafe to eat at that point, you really need to use a food thermometer. This is the type I use. It's got a metal probe on it. If you'll notice, a lot of my pots, I've removed the top from them, or the lifting pot, and I just use that hole to drop my thermometer down so I know exactly what's happening inside the pot. That's a very easy way to do things. I always use a food thermometer. There's lots of different ones out there. This particular one has a glass lens on it, so it's suitable for leaving in the cooker. It won't melt. You can find these anywhere, $7, $8. This is what you use to make sure the food that you're serving your family is safe. Thanks for watching. I hope these will help you to become a successful solar cook.